to do that.
Do it.
A Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud,
John Nemetz,
Matt Hagan,
and Scott Allwood, special guest.
What?
Hey, hi.
No, hold on here. We found you in our house. All right. We were outside doing our thing. We get home and I'm like, hey, something looks like someone was in my fucking bed.
I hacked in. I'm like, oh no, you guys are gonna have me as your guest.
Oh man, Zoom bombing.
Oh yes.
The best of us.
Yes. So Scott, how'd you like our porridge? You just ate all our shit while we were away.
I love it. I scrunch it up every week. Scrunch it up. I watch every week. Hey, check the comments. You'll see I'm the guy that leaves one. So
the only guy.
Well, the show where we talk about our love, hates, and indifferences. Before that, though, we go into Deja Fuse. Does anyone have any of those?
I have some fuel to add to the fire.
All right.
Fuel to the fire. Vince is gonna laugh at me, but it bothers me last week that I couldn't articulate things regarding World War II. It really bothered me. I lost some sleep the other night. So just some context. So Vince and John seemed outraged by the idea that like an All Quiet on the Western Front type of movie could be made from the German soldiers' perspective during World War I, but it couldn't be made during World War II. And I find that ludicrous. That was my whole idea, because it definitely can be made. Because how many ordinary German men thought they were fighting for one thing during World War II due to propaganda and lies, but in reality, they were fighting for the most horrible thing imaginable. And how many ordinary men could see through the bullshit, but they would actually end up fighting anyway, because if they didn't, it would be an act of treason. How many of these guys found out about the actual concentration camps and war atrocities after the fact, after the war actually ended? So many German soldiers were duped, and they absolutely have had their story told, and they should continue to have their story told, because there's important lessons to be learned. And history does sometimes repeat itself. So I just wanted to get that off my chest.
I had never actually heard of this movie until you said something about it, and I thought it sounded like a great idea. Show the other perspective. I would like to see it eventually. At this point, I'm with you. I think that we should be able to see it from a different point of view.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my only thing, the First World War was like over land, and like Ferdinand, didn't he get assassinated? Is that the guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was different, but I'm glad that Matt went back and, cleared the air a little bit, because, World War II is totally fucking different.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt it's totally different. It's just the idea that we can't identify with German soldiers during World War II is ludicrous. It's just, that's not right at all, because there's a lot of innocent dudes fighting for the Germans that just got caught up in that. So there's plenty of stories to be told.
And Matt, you're German, right? Aren't you?
Mostly German. Yeah, mostly German. My let's see, my great grandfather would have immigrated just before World War One. I think like I'd have to go back to like the very early 1900s, so 1905 or 7 or something like that. Mm-hmm.
So when we were talking about the royal family, I was going to salute him, but I don't think you salute him. Like, bow, maybe.
Go for it. They would appreciate it.
But that's the English princess, right? They wouldn't actually be like your prince and royals, right?
Well, I have no idea. How that crap works.
So correct, they would not be the royals of the Germans, but there was a lot of intermarriage. Like, wasn't Queen? I don't know, but definitely there was like German princesses and stuff who were like married into the English royal family in the past. So like they did their best to like slightly expand the gene pool of the royal family when they could,
and they failed.
Well, Scott, are you German? John, are you? What are you guys?
Yeah, I'm almost completely German. Similar story to Matt as how my family made it over here. I
And
think
I
late
believe-
1800s.
Oh, I was gonna say like Matt's family got to America like 30 minutes before your family got.
Yeah, exactly. I know on my mom's side, her ancestors were like tricked by Catherine the Great into living in Russia for a while in like the Volga River Valley, and then there's like a whole like German speaking community there to this day in this weird little pocket of Russia. But anyway, they moved over to the United States some point after that.
Yeah,
I
Wisconsin
actually-
is a gigantic German community in the state of Wisconsin. That's what it's known for. Go ahead, Scott.
I don't know much about the history of my ancestors whatsoever. Actually, in ninth grade, I had a history report, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, where are we from?" And she's like, "I don't know. I think we have some people over in Kentucky for a little while." and I ended up not doing the report, and the teacher was mad at me and then afterwards, I was like, she told me we were from Kentucky. I thought that was stupid. And then everyone else is over here saying all these cool things. And he's like, hey, calm down. Next time, just put that and not turn in your work, you idiot.
Just lie, just outright lie. I seem to remember doing the same thing about the same grade. Maybe it was like 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere in there. And my mom and dad gave me some ideas, but then I remembered I ended up fibbing some stuff too. I remember writing down some outright lies. I don't know. I thought maybe it would make me seem cooler, and it totally succeeded.
One thing I learned somewhat recently, like within the last few years, is like my last name is actually like the Polish word for German. So like I think my dad's side, they must have come from like the east part of Germany or something. So which is kind of funny because like if you think of the English word for German is Deutsch, right? So it'd be like someone with that last name from our point of view, but from like the Polish point of view.
Do you guys know anything about your last names? Mine's Allwood, so I don't think that there's much going on there. But you have more interesting last names.
I don't think there is a story that I know of, but Hagen is a very, very German name. But I don't think there's a town or anything like that. No.
Cloud is my government name, man. You didn't have last names.
Bro.
Yeah. My if this whole if Matt's family and John's family didn't show up here 30 minutes apart, you would be calling me Hampakis. Yeah.
Humpa geese.
Hampa Keese. And if I say my name, I'm saying Hampa Keese Ga. When I end it with Ga, that means what I just said is my name. And that means it's a clear day. There's not a cloud in the sky,
so
ironically
the
enough.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long ago did your family choose the name Cloud, or was it chosen for them, or
Oh, Cloud? Jeez, I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't look into it. When you ask that, they're just like, oh, when the fucking Makates came, and Makates.
It was not a clear day that day.
Makates, by the way, is what I would be calling you guys if I just wanted to say you guys are white. I'd say you guys are Makates. That means long knives.
Long knives.
There we go.
I take offense to that, sir.
I'm an average knife, man. All right. Well, let's get into the actual show.
Actually, one more thing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So John,
This is unprecedented.
we're breaking through glass ceilings here. So last week we were talking about the whole John has a hard time visualizing what he's reading thing. And then it got me thinking, like, I think that's why John maybe can turn that switch off and he can go to bed right away. He's not running back stuff in his mind as he's trying to fall asleep. I think that's my problem. I start thinking about the day, or I think about tomorrow, or I think about something stupid I said yesterday, whatever. And then stuff is visually running through my brain. So Do you get any daydreaming, John? Do you have any of that playing back visually?
No, definitely not. Sometimes like I'll kind of replay conversations, but it's never anything visual.
It's just a transcript.
Yeah.
I feel like my mystery subject kind of tracks back to that conversation, and I would like you guys to remind me about that so we can discuss that, because I found that super interesting that your mind works that way.
Well, we can jump into the mystery right now if you want, Vince.
Exactly.
Oh, well, all right.
This is also unprecedented.
So the mystery thing is an indifference of mine. I don't really, it's listening to music pretty much at all times. I know a lot of people who are like, oh, if there's nothing going on, they want music playing. For me, I'm completely fine, and I don't even notice music half the time if it is playing. So I'm just in my own head, thinking, remembering future, past images of this and that. So I'm just completely in my own zone, in my own world. But I feel other people, maybe in John's case, I don't know, this is kind of why I wanted to talk about it. Do you feel you want to listen to music more often because you don't have that going on in your head at all times? Like you want something playing or just kind of taking your focus in a way? Or
Oh yeah, so I'm always listening to something. Like I think I looked at my podcast player, and like out of the 365 days last year, I was listening to podcasts, 60 of them.
okay.
And then like that's if I'm like working and stuff, and if I'm programming or doing the kind of stuff that I'm not like involving like the English language part of my brain, I can listen to podcasts. If I'm doing writing or reading or something, then I'll usually listen to music. But yeah, I'm always listening to something.
Because I feel like when I put on an album, I want to just focus on that album. And if I'm doing other things, I'm just I'm like, oh, this dish is red and I'm cleaning it. Got to make sure to get this spot. So I'm not even noticing the music. So when I listen to music, I want to just be like, oh, I want to listen to this right now. And I like to read the lyrics along with the music. So when I listen to music, I feel like I probably listen to it a little differently than other people because I'm so focused on it. Whereas others can just kind of like throw it on and enjoy it in a different way.
Yeah, most of the time I'm multitasking when listening to music, but every once in a while, like, just a song pulls you in and you just got to kind of stop and focus and just take it all in because it's so good or something. But yeah.
Well, I think, John, that's why you got into records, right? It kind of forces you to put a record on and sit in your rocking chair next to it with your pipe or glass of whiskey or whatever you do, right? Like you want to get the full experience.
I mean, I've always been into full albums over like just mixing random stuff together. Like I rarely will like, just put on a playlist or something. It's usually like, oh, I just want to listen to this full record. And if there's like a record where I only like a couple songs of it, I'll probably just never listen to those songs.
I would just listen to those songs on repeat. Like I don't disregard them. I'm like, oh, just repeat then these two songs.
I think at first when I listened to music, and this was going to be a future indifference, I think, because I'll tend to like grab a hold of an album. It's like new to me and I listen to it and I'm like, oh my God, I get lost in all the shit. And then I'll listen to it again and again and again until eventually it's almost like those, everything gets slowly sawed away and I'm not picking up the guitar as much. You know what I mean? And like the bass isn't as heavy as before. And I'll just do that. And then when I get to a point where I'm like playing video games, I could put on like an album and it's just there. It's not as rich as it was. Yeah. That's a weird thing for me.
So you kind of wear the music down in your own mind so you can listen to it casually?
I'll listen to it casually after that because now it's not, that experience isn't there for me anymore. It's but I can do that with movies as well. But visually though, I don't really get too visual. If anything, it helps me write if I'm listening to music. It really kind of conjures up some emotion, and I could write to that if I'm trying to do a work a screenplay.
Who's that director? Who's that director that does that? He did Elizabethtown with Orlando Bloom.
Oh, right.
Cameron Crowe.
Yeah. I've read interviews where he does that. Do you feel like Cameron Crowe in that sense?
I do
like,
feel.
Are you writing them into the screenplay?
I feel like like Elizabethtown. It was a bit of a failure, right? It wasn't very good.
In fact, it was a fiasco in the parlance of the film.
I'm like, why did I think Orlando Bloom could do anything but shoot arrows? Come on.
I mean, as far as music goes, like I won't say never, but I very rarely will sit down in a dark room with music and just close my eyes, and that's all I'm doing. So yes, I'm always doing other things too. I feel like yeah, I mean, at that point you're just passively listening to music. But there was a time in my life where I got really into certain music, and if I was hearing an album for the first time, absolutely, I would be in a quiet room, and that's all I would be doing. But maybe there is something to that. Maybe I'm not getting the full experience of music these days. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one.
Now, I don't know if I should talk about this, but there are certain fungal substances that can make listening to music an extremely active experience.
Oh, synesthesia, or
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like the mushrooms that are growing in my shower, I can just try those. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, give it a shot, see what happens.
Wait, did you say in your shower?
Yeah, I'm a shower man. They're all over the place.
Oh, okay. I was like, I never thought to trip in a shower.
Trip over mushrooms in my shower because they're everywhere.
You're like, they're not making me bigger or hallucinate. These things suck. Wait a minute, John. So are you kind of saying that perhaps you were a fun guy one evening?
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't know. It's just like, the environment around you like kind of morphs and pulses and like.
So did you start off like with a very small bit of fun and then work your way to like an amount that you're comfortable with? That like, I don't know, I've never tried anything like this.
That would be the better way to do it.
The way I did it, however.
How it went with my crew was that we had no idea how strong they were, so we're just like, I don't know, try this.
We're doing it. See what happens.
I tried it once with one person who was experienced, because you need that, right? He could talk you down or whatever. And then one person who was just giving off these bad vibes, and I felt him, man. I could have sworn. Yeah. So eventually it was a bad thing. And I remember like I felt like I was teetering on the edge of terror and insanity. And I was like, this is crazy. And I remember like the kitchen elongating into like a long unstable bridge. I'm like, I'm not going to that fucking kitchen. Screw that. But it was fun until it turned bad. Like I was playing Halo at the time, and there was like a laser light show on the ceiling and the floor. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah.
So your first time you decided to do whatever this thing was during a Halo game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I lived and died Halo, and it definitely felt weird after a while. But
well, that's probably best your first time to be in a safe space like your house or whatever, as opposed to wandering through the woods or camping
I've
or something.
only done it camping in the woods.
Oh, okay.
See,
but
actually,
you pick a nice sunny day where the weather is good, and like the first time I just remember it being like, You know, like when you're a kid and like just everything looks amazing and like seems so cool and fun. Like that's how it was. Like
I
everything
think
was
that
so
feeling.
so bright and so cool looking and
I think I missed that as a kid. Maybe that explains a lot.
Uh-huh.
were you more of an indoor kid?
I
Yeah.
wanted to. I wish I was outside camping during the daylight in like a big meadow or something, you know. But yeah, it was. I was just in this small little dirty apartment. And, it was not a good time. I remember like getting annoyed, then angry, then terrified of concepts. I'm like, the clothes, why? You know. And I literally, like, I was like, I locked myself in the bathroom. I'm like, oh God, why do they always have to touch? You know what I mean? So I just like went to my skivvies and I sat in the tub and I'm like, this is horrible. Like, I was like, I'm never doing this again. And I haven't. Yeah. But I probably would. I mean, I know it can be fun. Yeah.
All right. So if you guys end up doing this with him, just know he's going to get naked. So prepare for that.
We also took a bunch because we thought it was old mushrooms. And then I think if you take it with orange juice, that accelerates it. And so we didn't even need the orange juice. Yeah. As always, OJ pushing it too far.
Simpson.
Leave the man alone.
He only wrote a book that said, if I killed my wife, this is how I would do it.
If. Yes.
Yeah.
You.
All right. Should we go to another topic?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's see here. Okay, well, I'll go. You know what I hate? This is a soft H, right? I hate swimming. I hate swimming. First
That wasn't
of all,
a soft H, by the way.
what's a soft H?
I hate it.
Is it more like a silent
soft.
H?
Silent H. Silent H, yeah.
I hate
so
it.
I hate swimming.
There you go.
Now it's not like I can't. I could. So I can swim, but it's mostly, and I passed, gym class, the swimming thing, but I always felt that I couldn't swim in place very well. I could swim to you just fine, but I wasn't the best at
like
just
treading water.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Or in life. Actually, no, I don't take that back. But so you have that. So I always felt kind of weird about swimming. And also when I was a kid, very young, maybe 4, something like that, I was with my dad and we were swimming or not swimming, we were fishing. We were on this big rock. And I remember trying to grab some tackle or a stick or something, but I just fell in. And just the sudden rush of being underwater and all these fucking fish swimming past me. And then finally my dad grabs me by the hair, pulls me out. And after that, I'm like, I don't like the fact that I don't know what's down there,
Was it more of the hair pulling? Because that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Oh, just by the hair.
No.
Come here, son.
When you grow up native, being pulled by the hair is like a cub being pulled by the scruff of the neck. So like, I don't really enjoy, they're like, hey, let's go swimming out in this lake we just found. I'm like, we don't know what's down there, I don't know. So I'm always kind of worried about that. And also, I just think it's weird that swimming, the thing that people do for fun, if you can't swim, you could die.
Well,
I think that's very bizarre.
Do you like to swim in pools or just like the bottom of the beach? Like just kind of walk in and what is that? Hover or just kind of sit in the water? Because I find that a lot of fun, like a hot tub, get in there.
Yeah. Hot tubs.
Yeah. Where do you draw the line? Hot tub's okay. Kiddie
Yeah.
pool, no way.
I don't know. I just remember. And I don't like how echoey pools are. It kind of puts me on edge, like when you're in an indoor pool, the smell of chlorine, the echoiness. Yeah, it puts me on an edge because I know I'm not the greatest swimmer. So when they're like, oh, it's Olympic size, it's like really fucking deep. I'm like, well, I'll just be holding onto this ledge while I talk to people.
Where are you going to pools that are Olympic sized pools? Where are you finding these?
Where did I go? I don't remember. Oh, I was young though. I was like maybe 12 or something.
When's the last time you were in water besides a shower?
God, when was the last time I showered even? Shit. Oh man, it's been a long fucking time. I think the last time someone brought it up, I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I was working at a high school and they're like, hey, so do you want to sign up to join the kids in gym class and watch over them? It's going to be swimming. I'm like, I'd rather
All
not.
I could imagine was you, current Vince, being asked that, not high school version Vince. So I was like, why in the world are this high school asking you to swim with the kids? Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was a teacher assistant, special needs. But okay, and then finally you bring up current Vince. I've gained some weight since high school, and it's that's
all the better
thing.
to float on the top of the water.
Well, believe it or not, I can be quite vain sometimes. So I'm like, I don't want to expose this bulbous gut.
Vince, I'm not the skinniest person, but I'll take my shirt off right now if it makes you more comfortable. Let me pretend. I'm going to switch mine to water, my background. We'll pretend we're in water together.
I'm not going to trend though.
So what are the odds that Scott's the one taking his shirt off after Vince's story about the mushroom or the fungi?
And so I definitely wouldn't be one to plan a swimming outing, but on my camping trips throughout the year, I'll go swim in the lake because it's the closest you have to a shower for the week. It's nice to wash up a little bit. Just what you talking about, swimming pools, I definitely don't like them. The smell of chlorine, which I think my wife likes that smell for some reason. She was a swimmer in high school though. She was like on the team and stuff.
Oh shit.
But I've been wearing glasses since second grade. So I just remember like being in the pool. It's loud and echoey, like Vince said. It smells like chlorine. I can't see past my hand. So yeah, I definitely don't have good swimming pool memories.
Well, I was at a bachelor party a couple weeks ago here in Green Bay. We rented this tricked out house and they had an indoor pool, and I was in there every damn day, even sometimes by myself, just because I like the pool. They had a little basketball hoop, you could shoot hoops and whatnot. It was fun. I have a good time. I've found
sports.
I found I can lay on my back and float very peacefully. The water's covering your ears and everything's very peaceful. And then I can just tread water and just slowly float. And that's kind of my favorite thing to do in a pool, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that is a nice thing to do, I'll admit.
We go kayaking a lot these past few years, which I had never done until recently. But we'll go kayaking to this little spot that we have, and we'll just like dunk in the water and this and that. And it's just some of the best times I have each year now at this point.
Dead Man's Float. Is that what that's called, Matt?
I don't even know. Maybe.
Isn't that on your belly?
Could be.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Face in the water. Yeah, that would make sense. Dead man.
They never die face up. That's kind of sad, guys.
I know. See the sky one last time.
Doesn't everybody do that as a kid? Just like, I wonder if they're going to notice me.
You're like, you're trying to hit on some girls. And you're like, pretend you're
yeah. The sandlot action or whatever. Got the lifeguard pull you out and give you mouth to mouth.
Yeah,
Squints. Get it as you can.
Squints. Yeah, that was a kid's name.
Caddyshack action. Drop a Baby Ruth bar in there.
Yeah.
John, have you ever tried contacts really quick? I mean,
yeah, I went through a contact phase and it was, I don't know. They're fine. Make my eyes dry. I don't like them.
So don't bring them up again, Vince.
I need glasses, but I wear contacts because again, the vanity. Vanity boys. What are the 7 deadly sins, if I'm not mistaken? So
Yeah,
I'll see you
let's
guys in
count 'em
hell.
down. Vanity, pride, envy, the rest.
So yeah, swimming. Is it time to backstroke out of here, or
Yes, I think it's a fine time to do so.
I will go. I am. What did I decide? I think I'm indifferent to GPS, but I love GPS itself. It's made. It's so convenient in this day and age to not have to worry about anything when you're traveling. You just type in an address and away you go. And you got that lady talking to you, telling you where to go. But at the same time, I find myself having a terrible time remembering directions or remembering street names or remembering highway names. And I don't know that that's a disadvantage to modern society or not exactly, but it bothers me that I have a hard time. It's like my brain is saying you don't need to remember this stuff because the GPS is always going to tell you where to go. So my brain just never remembers stuff like that.
So you feel
What's
like
your
it
guys' relationship?
you feel like it messed up your memory in some aspect? Like because you can rely on this. It's like addition and multiplication. You have a calculator now, so you can just go ahead and do. So it's similar to that.
Yeah, I don't know how my brain decides what it wants to remember, but yes, that's exactly it. Like it's not important. Just like, remembering somebody's name.
I feel like that's a reason why I love it. I love GPS because I don't have to think. I love calculators because I don't have to remember division and stuff.
You're just lazy, aren't you, Scott? Can we just get right to it?
Yeah, sure. Let's bring up my stats. Right here, you'll see.
For the most part, I have great sense of, not a sense of direction. I don't know if that counts, but like visually, I can remember roads and houses and stuff like that, but I don't remember the names. I'm really bad at that. I really enjoy just driving and just ending up wherever, because you do have that GPS to turn on afterwards and be like, where am I? Shit like that. And it's just like, run. You're in a bad spot. So yeah, it's fine. I barely use that GPS, but it's usually just so I can have a nice cruise without consequence.
Oh, so you're kind of the opposite. Like, I don't think I've ever just gone on a drive and just end up wherever I end up and then turn on the GPS and like, oh, GPS is going to save me. And I guess that's kind of part of it too. Like there's a whole generation of people, many generations of people that was an activity. You go out for a drive. We're just gonna go out for a drive. I don't ever go out for a drive, so maybe that doesn't help my memory either when it comes to town names and street names and whatever.
So I'm definitely a big fan of like just having a good mental understanding of wherever I am, and like I always try to make an effort when I drive somewhere to drive home a different way to like, kind of get a better feeling like how the destination fits into like the greater whole of the map. And I definitely like to know the names of streets and highways and everything. I hate when people give you directions based on landmarks. Like, even if it's something you're not going to miss, like, oh, turn right after the 7-Eleven or whatever. It's like, okay, well, what's the name of the street that I'm turning right on? I feel much better about that.
I kind of feel the opposite. I think the 7-Eleven's easier. I mean, you got the 7-Eleven as opposed to this little street sign that you got to pick out. Yep, that's the one.
I'm starting to feel bad because that's how I give directions typically. Is like, oh yeah, just hit this spot, hit that spot, and then you're good. Take a right.
Yeah, I can't. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just never sure, like, oh, did I pass a 7-Eleven? I don't know. Maybe. Like, as opposed to like there's only one street with that name.
See, that's interesting to me that your focus is so much more on the name of a street as opposed to like just a 7-Eleven. So like if you get the name of the street, somehow you're more focused.
If my wife has me pick up something from the store, I'll like look up what's the UPC number of it and I'll find that way quicker than like trying to find the item on the shelf. Because it's like, okay, shampoo, it says with conditioner. It's like, oh, I'll never be able to like match this to an item on the shelf. But then it's like 05707. Okay, you know, you can look for that, and it's way easier.
Does that tie into your lack of respect for visuals, or what?
That very well could be, yes.
That's so interesting to me.
I don't think I've ever in my life looked at the UPC number on the it's on the tag on the shelf, right? That's that serial
it's
number
usually
there?
on the tag underneath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never.
So is that a normal thing that you two do? Is that she's just like, oh, I know that he would rather have the UPC number, so she memorizes
like,
that, and then
she'll send me like a link to the item or something, and then I'll just like, instead of looking at the picture of the item, I'll be like,
Okay.
oh, here's the number.
Okay.
Oh, damn it. I wanted that to be true too, Scott, where she's like, I can't communicate with this guy unless it's these cold numbers.
Oh, yeah, you're stopping at Target, get me a 21837.
But what if the shelf isn't stocked right? Like, you've got to fall back. You still have to visualize the bottle of shampoo.
Yeah.
Right? You still have to hold it in your hand.
Right.
It's got to make sense.
I agree. It's just it narrows it down, and like the item will have the same number on the barcode.
Oh yeah. But still, 7-Eleven is so much easier. There's this big gigantic 7-Eleven sign as opposed to this little street sign.
Again, that's
I mean,
a visual cue.
I
John
don't-
just does not like
But
it.
you know
Makes
where the
sense to me.
street signs are supposed to be. They're not always consistent.
Ooh.
Believe me, I understand that.
Oh, wow.
But like, yeah.
So Scott and I are maybe the only ones that rely on the GPS, we would
Well,
say. And
one thing that's nice about GPS is even if you know where you're going, it can like warn you if something like a road's closed or there's like a crash or something, and it can route you away from that. Because I've like, I was driving to Neilsville one time, and I get to Osseo, and there was like, you couldn't exit there. So I'm like, okay, well, I knew where I was going, but now I have to drive like another 10 miles for the next exit, and then get off wherever, and then figure out where I want to get to. And like, had I just put the GPS in, even though I knew where I was going, it would have given me a more direct way.
They also do that with tolls. If you have a toll to pay, it'll be like,
yeah.
hey, there's a toll this way, or if you want to take a route without tolls, like if you don't have change on you, or just take this route, it might be a little bit longer, but very
Hashtag
helpful.
Illinois problems.
I was just gonna say, that's just the Illinois thing.
Yeah, they don't have that in Minnesota. I know they don't have it in Wisconsin, right?
Damn
No.
you, Chicago!
Yeah. Should we go on?
Yes.
Sure. Should I talk about my love for public libraries,
Please do.
both for their physical locations and the services they offer?
Like massages or
Yeah, exactly. So
Happy endings aisle.
avid listeners may note that I hate physical books, yet I love the library, which is weird. But I would say my number one love for them is just it's a place you can go and nobody's like expecting you to buy anything or spend money on anything. Like, you don't have to be like buying coffees to sit there. You don't have to be, paying for whatever. You can literally just go there, sit down, get on their free Wi-Fi, hang out, good to go. And beyond like having books and DVDs, and I think you can even check out like vinyl records and stuff, which I haven't done. But like, they also have like, you can sign up with your library card for like movie streaming services, like Canopy, I think one of them is called. You can check out ebooks and stuff, and download them to your favorite e-reader of your choice. And I use that stuff all the time. My company I work for now has an office downtown, but before I had that, when I worked from home, like I would often just go to, take my laptop to the library and just sit out by the window, just watch the people in the street and stuff and work and all that. And I love that as just like a scenery kind of thing.
Yes, no high pressure librarians to have to deal with. You'll notice this what's the code? Not the code, but the way they separate books. What is it called?
Oh, the Dewey Decimal system.
How do you feel about that? Because I've never bothered to like understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. Like I'll look up a book in the catalog and it'll say like general history 681.7, and so like, okay, I know what section to go to, and then it's sort of numerically, but how they translate topics to numbers and stuff, I have no idea how that works.
It sounds like, when you're sent to the store, you're looking up these numbers and stuff. It would seem
true.
up your alley a little bit.
I mean, it works. I can always find the book I want.
You know what? So wait, are there non-public libraries?
Oh, sure. Like
Name some. I don't know.
well, like, colleges or universities might have libraries.
Okay.
Businesses might have like a library for their employees and that kind of stuff. But
Rich
yeah,
assholes.
I guess maybe public library is a bit redundant, because I just mean the libraries that everybody thinks about.
Well, in that case, and I might omit this later, the first time an adult woman hit on me was in a library. And
Do not admit this. Tell us the whole story right now.
He doesn't have the editing skills to admit this. Go ahead, Vince.
I can swipe left or whatever, Tinder style. So this librarian, I don't know, I asked her a question like I always have, but this was after I went through puberty, apparently, because that's when the girls, they came a-flocking. Not in flocks, but they came in pairs or something. I don't know.
Never mind. I don't want to hear this story anymore.
Do you have any books on having just gone through puberty?
Let me give you the real life version, boy.
Yeah, but like, I don't even know what I asked, but again, like I've seen this librarian plenty of times, and she was just like, I don't know what she like placed her hand on, was it my chest or my arm or something like that, where I'm like thinking that's a girl hitting on me move, and I was instantly like frozen. I'm like, what do I do? Because it's not like she was attractive.
That's when you put your hand on her chest.
Just start squeezing away.
Oh god. But yeah, that's all I have for libraries, John. I'm sorry.
So that's my library story.
And that was the last time I went to a library.
Where he was molested. Sorry about that, Vince.
No, I kept
Making
coming
you share
back to
that.
the libraries expecting the same thing. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it was very weird because she like took me to like one of the back rows where she was like, I know this is a safe spot for me to do that to you. Yeah.
What? Wait, how
Is
old
that a
were you?
real part of the story?
So
Is
you're
that
like
real?
13, 14?
I was in high school.
Okay.
And like I said, I'll probably omit this, but John, Matt, you guys remember the librarian?
No,
You know?
I don't think
Like
I do. No.
The school librarian or
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And no, I'm not
no.
talking Mr. Dickinson. I'm talking the other one.
Well, he seemed more likely to pull something like that.
He hated me. I don't think he would have. It's such a weird way to grow up, where in the school library, one librarian hates you, the other one loves you. Apparently, I don't know, lusts after you.
I have this weird now that you mentioned Neilsville School Library, I have this weird story. Like we must have been 9 or 10 years old, something like that. And there was this like motorcycle magazine that had this kind of scantily clad lady layout in the middle of the magazine. And
Ooh la la.
we used to keep checking that magazine out, and then we would always whisper to each other, "Oh, check this out," because I swear there was a little bit of nipple on one of those pictures. But anyway, we kept checking it out back and forth, and somehow I mean, we're 9-year-olds probably yelling about it, but so the librarians found out about it, and then they ripped that whole section out of the motorcycle magazine, and
Wow.
there was no use in checking out that magazine anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't mean to bring the group down or anything. But...
I'm gonna need a minute.
And that was your first run into with censorship.
Whoa.
Ah.
Whoa. I never even thought of it that way, man.
Did they burn it? They're
ever
like,
since
nine.
He's been a
Did
First
you ever-
Amendment crusader.
Did you ever go back and like find that magazine online, like eBay? Like, oh, I gotta see it again.
No. No. I found better pictures than that later, so we're okay.
All right, that's fair.
Last time I was in a library, so I have kids, and we went to the Denmark library, but it's been a couple of years since I've been to the library. But I did experiment with the Hoopla app once upon a time, where you can borrow ebooks and music, and I think there's probably video and stuff like that too. But I remember kind of looking into it, and I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for, so I just kind of dropped it. But I know there's like a Libby app as well you can do this with. So you really don't even have to go to the library apparently to check some stuff out. But I haven't gone down that rabbit hole.
I would go and get their CDs and then burn them onto my computer, so I would have the albums. Or like if I needed to print something off, I don't have a printer typically in my life.
Heck yeah.
So I always appreciated it for those reasons.
I did that with
A lot of them
DVDs.
have like 3D printers and stuff too now.
3D printers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Also, they're like, like if you visit a city, their central library is usually in kind of a cool building, which is always fun to check out. Like, I actually often like to check out the library if I'm visiting a city just to see what it's like and check it out.
I heard that'd be fun. I'm like, I think that'd be fun. Just in the background, nerd.
Wait. So I was just gonna ask you guys, would does it seem like a librarian would be kind of an easy gig, you know? Maybe you don't make much money, but it's like fucking calm, and like there's no Karens in a library, are they?
They're everywhere.
Even in the library? Shit, it sucks. But like, I wonder what you got to know. You know, do you have to know that Dewey Decibel System? And do you have to know, like, you know, when a young boy who just went through puberty, you got to know the rows and where to bring him. And
this row doesn't have a camera looking at it. Yes.
That's like Librarian 201. You know, they don't learn it right away, but it's pretty early.
201. That's actually an interesting thought, though. Like, there was a time when you had to go to school to be a librarian. Is that even a thing schools even offer anymore? Like
library sciences? Heck yeah.
My girlfriend at 17 was working at a library, and I don't think she went to school for it. She was just kind of like a helper there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like, maybe like to be the runner, the
head honcho.
Yeah.
so now I envision Karen's being in a library, but hushed. Don't you know who the fuck I am? I will fucking ruin you. Shit, I'm calling the
Your
police.
time on the internet is over. Skedat.
Yeah, let's turn the page, shall we?
Whoa.
And
Best segue you've ever done, Vince.
I love it.
Mark it
I
down.
love it. So good.
we got you, Scott.
Oh, is it on me now?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, my indifference is, I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but because anyway, so like significant other relationships, like relationships with, you know, the opposite sex or same sex, whatever. where it can be physical and stuff. I'm pretty indifferent to the idea of being with somebody. I'm very okay just being by myself. I used to be obsessed with love, the idea of love, had girlfriends, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally into it and would do anything for it. But nowadays I'm kind of just like, eh. So I just kind of wanted to hear your guys's ideas about it since you're married. Then you can just shut the hell up. We don't need to. Just kidding. No, but I thought it would be interesting to kind of hear your views on it, because as a person who doesn't feel the need or want, like if it happens, cool, whatever. But I guess I just haven't felt it in the way that you may have.
Whoa.
Give us all the
Big
good
topic,
details
man.
about your wives and how you don't like them, whatever.
Big topic, man. Let's see where to begin. I've always been a guy who I've always had girlfriends, like a steady girlfriend, and I always kind of wanted that relationship, to touch on one of your points there. As far as getting married and when, boy, I feel like I'm talking to my child. Like, okay, this is my child here. Do we want the birds and the bees now, Scott?
Papa Matt, please
Papa
tell
Matt.
me.
As far as was there a point in your life, Scott, when you were actually looking for marriage material? Was that what you were always looking for? Like, I want a girlfriend and I'm evaluating her as marriage material?
Oh, 100%. Up until probably about 27, my late 20s, I was really into the idea. And then I don't know if it was just because things hadn't worked out with the people that I was so infatuated with, that I kind of just, people I would meet from then on would be like, okay, I guess we're going to date now. And then we're going to see each other and see where it goes. And then I would get bored and be like, this is fun, but it isn't.
Get bored. Would you say that was like the biggest problem? Things just got boring eventually?
Not at all. My first relationships, I adore them 100%. I speak highly on them, even though one ended with the stalker and I had to get the police involved and the court system involved. I was still very much in love with the idea of like, that was my goal. Like, she didn't work out, but maybe this next one will. But at this point in time, I don't know. It could just fall down to I haven't met the right person. But at this point, it's just kind of indifference to me, because I don't care if it does happen. But if it does, cool.
Well, I think there's a compatibility involved for sure. I don't believe in the like 1 in a billion stuff. I don't think that's real at all. Well, unless you're a complete asshole and you need the opposite or the same as you or something. But if you're like a normal person, like 1 in a billion thing, I don't think is really a real thing. But you have to be compatible. And I think once you've lived with somebody for a period of time, a year or something, I think you definitely get an idea of compatibility. And if you can live with a person's faults and stuff like that. John, you've been quiet. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm definitely someone who's happier being in a romantic relationship than being single, and been married now for just over 16 years, and like, just part of the adventure is like, I'm very different than I was 16 years ago, so is my wife, and just kind of growing and changing with each other and seeing what happens next and everything. And then just, I don't know, just like having someone that, like, not that you take for granted, but that you don't have to be worried that they're not going to be there. Like, there's always just that person who's there for you and stuff.
I believe love is a young man's game, man. Actually, you know what? When it comes to relationships, I was very young. Well, not, God, how old was I? But I had it in my mind where it's like, I'm really young, and the girls that would, I would be dating are young as well. We're immature, like really thought that way, where I'm like, it's better to wait until 25 years old. That's what I was thinking. I was like, 25 is a good age. I don't know what made me choose that, but I was like, that's after college, that's after this and that, where you should be available emotionally, whatever, so so I thought that before my very first relationship, my very first girlfriend. I actually had to kind of get nudged into it, where they're like, dude, she really likes you, man. I'm like, yeah, you like her? I'm like, yeah. Like, well, just get with it. I'm like, all right. So I did. But she was immature, believe it or not. In fact, I still hear stories of her, and yeah, I really dodged a bullet there. But I wasn't too quick to go into the next one after that. But I did, and it ended, and I'm like, that really sucks. And then here comes this girl that I've liked since I was so young. We finally got together.
Was it the librarian?
She was like 48 when we first met, and then
Yeah, but you're closer in age now than you were back then.
It's very true. Very true. I can reach the top shelf. So yeah, I remember getting into those, especially those first three. That's the main thing. After that third girlfriend, and that was the one I really kind of wanted to get with, regardless of maturity and shit. But that ended. And after that, I was like, well, this sucks. I'm really not one to jump into something and then to another. I had this comparison because, like, when I was a child, you have dogs, and a dog dies and you're like, oh shit, and they're like, hey, let's go buy another dog. I'm like, okay, I'm still kind of mourning that last one, but all right. And then you get another dog and they eventually die or something happens, and you're like, oh well. And they're like, how about another dog? I'm like, I don't know, because I really feel, I really connect. I want to imprint, you know what I mean? Like that's what love is to me. So it's kind of like we were talking about Batman's The Many Variations, and I'm like, oh, hold on, I'm still thinking about Val Kilmer, you know what I mean? It's that weird attachment where I'm like, I never took love or relationships lightly. I was really hesitant in almost all girlfriends that I've had. And now, I ended a 10-year pretty bad relationship. And because of that, I have not had one since. It's been like 8 years ago now. And I'm not in a rush to get in another one. I do want one. But yeah, there's no rush really.
Well, 100% of marriages end in divorce or death. So, you got that to look forward to.
So the next three could end up dying on you. So,
oh shit, you want to get dark? 4 of my exes are passed away. Isn't that weird?
Holy smokes, that is weird.
That's
I had
crazy.
one pass away, and I thought they was in shambles. I was like, I don't understand this. The memories are just mine now.
Yeah,
You had
right?
4 of them? That's
Yeah.
wild.
So I do have to say also, there's official girlfriends, and then there's something on the side. But eventually, you guys hang out so much, you might as well have been dating. You know what I mean? Like, we just never made it official and shit like that. So there's those as well. But it is very bizarre. And part of me, there was a phase where I'm like, I'm cursed. I know it. I have a deadly dick.
Deadly dick. New band name. To be fair, Vince did hang out at meth labs a lot. And those, not all his women. Don't put 2 and 2 together to get dark. Good discussion. Good discussion. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to this discussion at all. It's just how you feel, right? Like, both of you guys are not in any, I mean, Vince and Scott are not in any rush to get another girlfriend, and John and I found the right person. I've been married for 11 years now, gonna be 12. And it's just, yeah, there is a comfort, there is a compatibility, and And I like that.
Scott, you just got to realize that the answer was in front of you the whole time.
It's you.
Yes.
Bring it in. Oh man. Well, yeah, I think that's the whole show, you know. So until next time, like, subscribe, comment. This was a Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud.
Me, John Nemitz.
Matt Damon.
And Scotty Allwood.